Justin.
How are you, gents?
Good morning. Right, so we've got a very tight schedule and we've been asked to stick to it. So I just introduced myself. Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Paris. I'm Marketing Director at FinTech Scotland, a cluster management organization. And welcome to the Super Connect for Good FinTech Finalist pitching session. I will be the lead judge for today for the FinTech session, and I am joined by Damien McGarrigle, who is Chief Operating Officer at the Global Open Finance Center of Excellence, or GOFCO, shorter. I'm also joined by Justin Black, who is Business Director at Hayes, and they will be helping me today. A bit of, I'm sure you've all been briefed, but just to remind you, you will all have 5 minutes to pitch, and then we'll have 2 minutes to ask you questions. Can ask you to stick to your 5 minutes, otherwise I will have to be very rude and stop you because we need to stick to time. Some of you will pitch in other sessions as well, so it's important that you've got time to go from one to the other. As well, I need to declare that because we're supporting 2 of the presenters today, Sustainably and Sonic Pocket, that I will not be asking questions to those 2 pitchers, and that Justin may have to take over here and replace me as the lead judge for that. We will then, after all the presentation, we will reconvene just the judges, and in a couple of weeks you'll see who the winner is. I wish you all good luck. Let's keep it quite relaxed. We're all friends. We've read all your presentations before. If you're here, it's that we really like them. So we can't wait to hear from you. And therefore, without further ado, I think the first one to start is going to be Ana Karen Zapata from Climate Trade.
My user was Francisco, the CEO of the company, actually, and I was trying to enter on the meeting.
No problem at all. Right. If you're ready, then we'll start, and I'll start the 5 minutes.
Should I share my screen? I think,
yes,
no?
Absolutely.
Let me see, because so first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Ana, not Francisco. Actually, I am the operations manager of Climate Trade. And well, Climate Trade was born 4 years ago in order to disrupt the traditional carbon markets. What we do exactly is to help companies to fulfill its commitments of carbon offsetting, basically. We are growing and we are incorporating new services, but for the moment, and our core business is about that. Well, how we did that, no? How we disrupt the traditional carbon markets. We create Climate Trade, the marketplace. So make you understand, Climate Trade is kind of the Amazon or eBay or even Airbnb, if you feel more comfortable with those examples, of carbon market, of carbon credits, sorry. So in that sense, our main objective with Climate Trade, with the marketplace, is to put in contact project developers with companies with companies that want to offset or need to offset their carbon footprint. The process, it's really easy, and there is a lot of advantages, as you will see. But our main or our higher value, it's about blockchain. It's the technology we are based, no? To make you understand, blockchain allows in both sides. I mean, they have a lot of advantage from project developers and companies. So all transactions, for example, are recorded and uncorruptible. This is really important in order to bring transparency to the sustainability strategy of the companies. There are a lot of advantages, but the main ones are, as I say, the transactions, no, that all the transactions are recorded. We avoid traditional intermediaries, so in that sense, we reduce the cost, and we can bring to the price developer a fair price of the tons. And we reduce the cost because as the traditional intermediary, we eliminate that traditional intermediary, I want to say that, is not a broker anymore. I mean, for example, to make you understand, the price is fixed for the project developer in the platform. Well, Something really relevant also is of course, the process is fully automated in that sense. So we speed up the transactions. And one of the main things that I really believe is important is about the project diversity. Actually, of course, we have more than 100 projects on the platform nowadays, and projects from every single country, international, every type, no, because we have reforestation, we have renewables, we have a lot of different natural-based solutions, different projects, in order to help companies to choose the best one for any single company, no? And of course, every single project in our platform is verified with the highest international standards as CDM of United Nations, BCS, Gold Standard, and so on. We are incorporating almost 15 projects per week, so we are growing our portfolio, and that's really relevant because we have a lot of offer for the customers we have, and as I told you, we work with different companies. So the main thing here is to know or to understand how we actually make impact. In that sense, we have both kind of impacts, no? Social one and the environmental one. Of course, environmental one, the main one is the tons offset for the companies, of course. But there are others, for example, protecting the species or hectares reforested and that stuff. And of course, depending of the project that we are talking about, we have different social impacts. For example, according to the SDGs, of course, because every single project has different SDGs integrated. So actually, 4 years ago, we were looking to involve our clients' customers in this equation, no? So we developed and we launched our API. The API, to make you understand, is kind of a bridge, technological bridge between our service, that is the carbon offsetting, between any system. I mean, the main idea is this one, to offer to our customers' clients the products or services carbon neutral through this API. For example, we work with Telefonica, and they have a special portal, it's called 2.com, and where they sell offset devices. And it's because of our API. I mean, in the same purchase process, for example, as a user select one device, the device will be carbon neutral directly, because our API allows that. And more than that is about how they offer in the same process, as I say, it's doing the same purchase process. And at the end of the purchase, the customer, the last customer, no, the B2B2C, because it's this model, receives a certificate customized on their mail. The same format that we are working.
Anna, I'm very sorry, but the 5 minutes are over. We're going to have to move to the questions. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very clear. In terms of the platform that you've developed in the API, you mentioned quickly the measurement of your impact. And in your applications as well, I remember reading about some of the data you were going to use to measure. It wasn't very clear whether you're going to have your own measurement framework and whether you're going to do the measurements yourself or whether you're going to rely on third-party data. Could you explain how you're going to do the measurement side of things?
Can you repeat the last part, please, because I'm lost in you?
Yeah, could you just explain how you're going to take care of measuring your impact?
Of course. Well, actually, we have two ways to measure this. I mean, we have the impact we realize that we are making with Climate Trade, the platform, and we have the impact because, I mean, the tons offset, the amount of customers that we have on the platform, the users, and on the other side, we have the project, no impact. I mean, every single project must be certified, as I told you, and they have to communicate to Climate Trade and to anyone, I mean, to the certificators, how they impact, on which kind of impact. And we demand that information on our platform. Actually, we have more a dashboard, a control dashboard we offer this to our customers, and we have one, of course, into our platform, into the marketplace, non-climate trade. So that's the way we measure the impact.
Thank you. Damien, Justin, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I suppose I just had the one. So how do you? There's a lot of quite negative press about carbon offsetting. What's your thoughts on the impact you're really making through the use and adoption of carbon offsetting type products?
How we made the impact, you mean? Sorry, because I'm lost in you. The connection is quite...
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of negative press around carbon offsets because it's not really making a big difference. So I guess what's your thoughts on that in terms of vis-a-vis what you're actually doing?
Sorry, I'm lost in you. I'm trying to put more. Again, can you write it, please, just to read it?
Yeah, Justin, do you want to maybe?
Sorry, we run out of time, unfortunately. We're going to have to move to the next presentation. Thank you very much, Anna, for your time.
Okay. Morning all. So I'm Francesca from GoodBots. We are a fintech company that's representing the third sector. So just a little bit about GoodBots. We were founded in 2016, really to help non-profit organisations fundraise in our ever-increasing cashless society. So still today, even in 2021, our non-profit organisations are really relying on fundraising as a main form of income. There are about 168,000 non-profits in the UK, and they really are the hearts and minds of our communities. Interestingly, throughout the pandemic, whilst funding for these organisations went down, demand for services went up. So what we do at GoodBots is we build a full payment solution for these organisations in order for them to accept donations via Contactless, Apple and Android Pay, over and above physical cash collections. So why so different? Contactless is everywhere, and this is something that I get quite a lot. Why do charities need help with contactless? Well, actually, when it comes to making a donation, the drivers to give are completely different. When you buy a cup of coffee, you need to be able to pay for that. When you make a donation, there's no necessarily benefit in kind. So we sat on the long kind of yellow brick road of building our own payment terminal, something that would engage with people, something that would have a screen, something that would tell a story, and something that would have a contactless field that was perpetually open, ready to accept donations at any amount. There are also other nuances to our products and services. We are fundraising experts, but in addition, things like being able to accept contactless donations offline, something we had to lobby the card schemes for, is really, really important. Just because of speed and signal, if anyone's doing any fundraising in a tube station or in a church with thick stone walls, or even in the centre of London, you'll know that signal is never a given. So our technology allows charities to collect donations even without signal and then batch them afterwards when there is signal. So we really are sector specific. I'll talk a little bit, I'll jump through these slides and I'll start talking a little bit about our results. So we've worked with the Natural History Museum. We've got about 2,000 UK organisations at the minute. We're currently processing about 500 donations an hour, a stat that I'm really, really proud of, and that's really cool. And we've raised millions in incremental revenue for these amazing organisations. And it's going to get tougher. We've had the pandemic recently, and people now see cash as dirty as well as inconvenient. So we really need to find a way to build a product and a platform. And the way GoodBots works is it really is kind of product and software as a service to help charities fundraise and raise more money. We've had incredible results. We've raised £50,000 in a day with a bunch of volunteers at Lord Cricket Grounds for the Ruth and Andy Strauss Foundation for our technology. Just last week, with Muscular Dystrophy, we raised an additional £60,000 at a gala dinner. We raised millions and millions for the organisations that we work with across the board. And the UK is only the start. We've had to raise 18 million in investment to date to be able to get this far. The underlying architecture is full end-to-end payment technology, so we are a payment facilitator, and everything that's built, that GoodBots is built on, is fundamentally a payment stack. So we do everything end-to-end, so the charities don't have to worry about all of the legislation and things like all compliance, for example, PCI compliance. Why would it be good for us to win the Super Connect award? For Good Award competition? Well, brand exposure. We want people to know and trust our devices. Even today, they do, and it's been amazing the journey that we've been on. Even when we had prototype technology at the Royal Albert Hall with Teenage Cancer Trust 5 years ago, the amount of engagement that we had, the amount of people that came up to us and said, "Oh, fantastic! I can make a donation because you do have contactless." Not kind of ran away because they, there's that common excuse of not carrying any cash anymore. Really, people do want to give, they do want to support. We're all human, we all have empathetic drivers, and what GoodBox can do is phenomenal. I mean, now is just the start. We're going to go on to raise more money later in the year, a Series A extension round or Series B, aligned to international expansion. And we're really excited, and we're really proud to work with incredible organisations up and down the country. I welcome the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you're under your 5 minutes, so even better. No, thank you. That would give us some time for more questions. One quick one for me was in terms of engagement with the people who donate. So I'm going to the shop. I donate Contactless to one of the charities. Is there any follow-up in terms of engagement with me?
Yeah, that's a great question. At the moment, we have complete anonymity for the donor, so everything's on the donor's terms. As with any other contactless payment, we capture the last 4 digits, the pound, the card type, the time, the date, and the amount. Nothing that would link you specifically as a donor, although we are looking at future products, ways in which we can create a feedback loop with the donor on their terms if they would like. So that is something that we're kind of on our future product roadmap.
Thank you, Francesca. Damien, Justin, any questions?
Hi, Francesca. I was just wondering about impact. Do you measure the impact of the donations as well?
That's a really good question. That's something that we're asked a lot. At the moment, we're a technology provider for the sector. So, it's a good point that necessarily more funds raised for charity doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to create the impact. What I would say is that when I talk to the organisations that we work with firsthand, it has made a huge difference in their ability to increase donations. I mean, across the board, we averagely increased donations from any given fundraising event about 68%. And, if anyone here has done any fundraising will know how hard work, what a lot of effort goes into and energy goes into those events. So to be able to capture additional donations in order to support your cause is fundamentally the starting point. I think impact's a really good question. How do we continue to measure that? However, we're really here to sit there as a service provider to the sector so that we can help them be self-sustaining.
Thank you.
Can I fire a question really quickly? Thanks. The hardware that you're using in the shops and or with your partners, what is your roadmap when
You're
technology?
on mute.
Oh, sorry.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry. Roadmap for the hardware and things like that, because hardware changes at such a rapid pace. What does that actually look like future forward for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we designed our own payment terminal because there wasn't anything on the market at the time. We are open and looking at other devices. We're not set on building our own hardware as part of our future product roadmap. And ultimately, will hardware even be part of what we are creating, 10 years down the line? Those are all questions that we're constantly evaluating and asking our product team. Our mission is very simple. It's very much trying to remove the barriers to entry for fundraising in a digital form for lots of incredible organisations or all non-profit organisations. So that's where we position ourselves as those innovators, as the technology partner to the sector, so that they can get on and do what they're good at, which is fundraising and supporting, amazing causes.
Thank you,
Okay.
Francesca. Thank you. Very good. Very good. We now have to move on to our next speaker, which is Gemma Ryan from iHub. Gemma, I will let you in just now.
Good morning, all.
Good morning,
Morning.
Gemma. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely fine,
Yes.
yeah.
Good, good. I'm having a few problems with my internet, so when I share my screen, I'm going to turn my camera off because I found that tends to make it work a bit smoother. So,
No problem.
yeah, My name's Gemma Cryan. I am the Marketing Director for IE Hub, and today I'm going to take you through a bit about who IE Hub is, what we do, and how we support people within the UK. So, can you see my screen?
We can, yes.
Yeah, brilliant. So before I get started on what it is exactly that we do, I wanted to really highlight what is I wanted to highlight the rapid changing financial landscape within the UK. So there are currently 28 million vulnerable customers in the UK, and a small increase of just £10 per month on energy bills could potentially put 27% of people into debt. So the problem that we see every day is that a proportion of the UK residents are really struggling to make ends meet. This isn't set to one particular age group or demographic. The problem is it's widespread. You may not be aware, but with personal debt comes a data collection exercise for creditors. So in order to set up an accurate payment plan, companies must first conduct what's called an income and expenditure exercise. And this is just to find out a bit about what people have coming in and going out. Historically, this takes place over the telephone and using Excel spreadsheets. The problem with this is that many people with personal debt aren't just having this conversation once with one company. On average, we find that people with personal debt owe out to an average of 6 companies. So they're repeating this exercise over and over again. And the telephone conversation could go on for up to 45 minutes. So you can imagine it's very stressful for people who are struggling to pay their bills. You know, they're not having this 45-minute conversation once. It's repeated often. At times, they're not expecting to have the calls. There's also an issue with data accuracy. So if I asked you right now how much money you have going out each month, I don't think you could give me an accurate figure. You know, you might know what your mortgage payments are, but would you remember to include the window cleaner, the dog's vet bills, your kids' uniform costs, or your morning coffee? And as a result of this, payment plans are often broken after a short time because people just can't realistically stick to the payment arrangements. The IE&E data that they're built on it's not correct. And then finally, there's increased regulation, which makes it very difficult for organizations to manage internally. You know, you have to really stay on top of the regulations because it's changing so often. And for a company, that can be quite difficult to do themselves. So where does IE Hub come in? So rather than trying to explain what we do in a very short few minutes, I thought I'd share a video because I think that you'll find out a bit more about who we are and what we do if you hear it firsthand from one of our customers. So I'm going to play a little video now. I've added subtitles just in case there is any issues with sound so that you can read through what our customer is saying about us.
I found myself in a little bit of a difficult situation after a family member had lost their job. We weren't living a particularly lavish lifestyle. It was just a case of trying to make ends meet. But with the extra bills on top, and before I know it, my debt was beginning to increase and creditors had begun calling. I probably took the wrong approach and was sticking my head in the sand. I was avoiding phone calls, letters. I was becoming stressed and anxious. When I eventually did speak in depth with one of my companies that I owed money to, they could sense my stress, my anxiety, and they knew that I was emotionally struggling with my debts. They suggested that I use IE Hub.
IE Hub guides the customer through the completion of their income and expenditure. They record their profile and we guide them through the questions which are appropriate to their circumstances. At the end, the customer has a summary of their budget which they can share with their creditors. You decide how you want to receive the IE from your customer. You present it back to your collection agent. All in all, the IE Hub journey takes the customer around 20 minutes, which is a huge time saving compared to the 45-minute call they might have with their creditor.
I was surprised because I thought I would be filling in various forms because I did have various creditors that I owed money to, and I was surprised to find there was just one form which all of my details was then shared amongst all of my creditors. So now it's a few months on, it feels like a weight's being lifted off my shoulders. My monthly payments are more manageable. I'm not getting the phone calls anymore, and my creditors are happy as well.
We're in it for the long run. We want to establish partnerships, not just a typical client-creditor relationship. We want to make sure that IE Hub does the best for our creditors and their customers. We don't set up a client and leave. We work with them to make sure that they deliver the right outcomes with their customers. We can support them in developing signposting. We can deliver campaigns. We also deliver training and ongoing support to agents.
if there is anybody out there that's finding themselves in a financial difficult situation, don't bury your head in the sand, honestly. IE Hub is there to help. I just wish I had done it sooner.
So thank you for that. So ultimately, our mission is just to create an I&E network for both customers and creditors. We want to remove some of the stress for the customer and enable realistic, sustainable payment plans to be set up. We're completely free for the customer. And so far, we've onboarded some excellent clients, but we need to keep growing. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are really struggling. Furlough ends today, you may be aware, and the debt situation is just going to continue to grow in the UK. So we just want to be on hand to support the people who need it. So thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Dima. Really, really good. Damien, Justin, do you want to start this time, or?
Go for it, Damien, if you want.
So one thing, I've seen some of these things before, and do you actually sit down with the person to fill in the information, or do you use something like open banking to pull in the information from the individual's bank accounts, etc.?
Yeah, so we are integrated with open banking. So the idea behind it is we send a link, so there's a website, so they go on and do it in their own time, so they can literally do it 24 hours a day, whether that be on a tablet, their phone, a laptop. And the idea behind that is we want them to be able to do it in their own environment, at their own pace. They can log in and out as they want. They don't have to do it all in one go. And they can select open banking if they choose to. We find not a huge amount of people are taking us up on that at the moment. I think there's still a bit of a misconception around open banking. You know, people feel like they're putting themselves at risk from using it. But we find that, you know, by offering it, some people do opt for it. I think for us, open banking comes in handy for changes in circumstances. So once someone uses IE Hub, it becomes a budget they can go in and out of as and when their circumstances change. We think open banking will be excellent for alerting creditors to a change in a person's situation. So it doesn't get to the point where, you know, a new bills come on board and they slowly slip away from making their regular payments. With open banking, we might be able to alert creditors that there's been a change and they need to revisit the conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Gemma, who is your biggest competition in this space?
So we have a lot of competition. There's a lot of people who do what we do, but on a sole basis. So they aren't building a network. So there's companies at the moment have software that can do exactly what we do, but just for one company. So for example, you're a creditor, you would work with a company similar to us who would then go out, collect the IE data and give it directly to you. We're unique in that we have set up a platform where our customers can share it with any creditor. So we have a share list that you can go on to and you can opt for the companies that work directly with us and who are on our network, and we'll send it digitally to those. But if we have if a customer has a company that's not on our list, we will send it free post to them. So they literally just give us the address, tell us their customer reference number, and we'll send it on for them by post, or they can download it and email it. So we are very unique in a sense that we're the only company that actually has a network.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Gemma. And thank you for your time. We will now move on to David. David Beer from Untitled. David, I'll let you in just now.
Excellent. Hi, morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Straight away, share screen now.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, I'll get started straight away then. So thank you for having me present today. So I'm David Beer. I'm our sustainability champion and director at Settled. We're a fully automated, legally compliant cash flow and credit management solution that protects revenue and working capital of every SME in the UK. We're helping them make sure they're in a positive cash flow position. Now, we know that SMEs are the lifeblood of the UK economy. If we don't protect them, not only will we see business closures, but we're also likely to see local and regional job losses, personal wealth impacts, family poverty, financial displacement, and mental health concerns. Now, SMEs provide 60% of the UK jobs, 50% of the private sector turnover, and are vital to the local and regional economies up and down the country. You know, that's why we were formed, to actually support these underserved businesses. Now, our vision is to work with 1 million SMEs over the next 3 years to ensure they're always in the best possible working capital position. and they have money to not only survive but thrive and grow. Now, the pandemic has created a perfect storm. Now, we've seen through government support, 1.6 million businesses have actually received 79.3 billion in funding. There's also been another 100 billion through the job support scheme and furlough. But the government's invested hundreds of billions of pounds, but we still have a working capital crisis in the country. What we also have is 68% of SMEs are negatively impacted by COVID. They face a 61 billion late payment issue. There's 100 billion of unsustainable debt. They now need to make their government loan commitments. It's now difficult to access additional funding or additional financial support to actually get them to where they need to be. There's likely to see a steep rise in insolvency rates if this problem is not solved, but that doesn't have to be the case. Now, it's settled. We're looking at helping businesses rethink how they manage their cash flow and protect their revenue. It's settled is being built on our CEO Glenn Morgan's 25 years of credit management experience. We have a team of finance, credit management, and sustainability experts driving us forward. We've codified his proven process, previously only available to large corporates, and made it available to every SME in the UK. It's settled as our only automated cash flow and credit management solution. As I said, it's legally compliant. It gives business owners the tools, experience, saves them time, money, and resources to manage the credit control themselves. Now, what does that really mean in practice? We're an extension of a business's sales function. A sale is not a sale until the money's into their bank account. And small businesses now have access to a lot of products that often highlight the problems. What it settled does is gets to the weed of the actual issue and actually gives them real tangible numbers of improving their cash flows. You can see here in a real customer example. Often what we do is we use lending as a reason to solve the problem that just papers over their cracks. Now, most businesses have money. The problem is it's sitting in someone else's bank account. Now, our proprietary process has collected 3.5 billion to date. We've helped 1,500 businesses collect 420 million of outstanding debt. What we want to do is actually solve that problem, that we're getting in early so they don't have a debt problem inside their organization. Now, when working with It Settled, there's no more worrying about getting paid. We keep track of your overdue sales invoices or, no chance of damaging customer relations when asking for payments. Business owners simply sync their accountancy software or the invoicing tool. It's very light touch and guides them every step of the way. Gives them early warning intelligence on cash flow management to avoid risks and future exposure. We reduce their overdue sales invoices by 40% within 30 days. We optimize their net cash position straight away. We decrease the time that it takes to recover unpaid invoices by 65%. We help positively gear their business to support growth. We help them become lending ready, and we enhance their chances of getting the right funding at the right time. We give our customers the headspace they need to concentrate on building a thriving business, and we help create and protect jobs in the local economies up and down the country. So what will this mean if It's Settled was successful today? Well, it really validates our position in the marketplace. It shows that there's a more sustainable way of actually improving cash flow within this particular country. We want to work with banks. We want to work with financial advisors, lenders, accountants, and SMEs to help them scale and grow, build business resilience, protect them from future market shocks, and allow communities up and down the country to thrive that depend on these underserved SMEs. We look forward to working with you to make change happen, and thank you for listening to me today.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really good presentation. Thank you. I just have a quick question for me. Very clear how you measure the impact on businesses. You had some great figures in the presentation. Do you also measure the broader impact on society when it comes to jobs, when it comes to DVA and things like that?
Yeah, it's measures that we're looking at incorporating into what we're currently doing at the moment. So we've formed partnerships with a business performance tool for SMEs. We've also formed partnerships with business bureaus as well, so we can look at supply chain impacts and wider business impacts. Because what people are not making the correlation, and this is why we're looking at working with financial firms around, is for a lot of these small business, there's not a lot of difference between their personal wealth and their business wealth. And when business goes down, it has a personal wealth impact, and it can, impact on their mortgages. It can impact on local jobs and local disbursement of income. So it's all areas that we're looking at measuring and impacting, how late payments are actually causing a wider societal problem than we're actually measuring currently at the moment.
Thank you.
Hi, David. One question for me is, how successful are you at the minute in terms of growing your product line?
We're really going through a real commercial phase at the moment of building partnerships. I think what a lot of SMEs actually look at doing is looking at lending as the first solution. And I think the amount of government money that's been in the marketplace at the moment has made people look for money. But I think, once we get someone, what our model is, we give someone a 30-day free trial of our platform. Once they've joined our platform, we have a 98% success rate. They stay with us because they realize that, the actual value that we actually have. Our biggest issue is really awareness that we actually exist and we're a real solution in the marketplace.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you. So now we're back with Gary Woodhead, who's, I think, managed to come back after his MacBook.
Thank you for having me.
Started.
Thanks, David.
Sorry about that. The tech gremlin jumped in 30 seconds beforehand. I will share screen. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, hi everybody, I'm Gary, one of the co-founders from CurveBlock. We'll jump straight in. So, what do these people all have in common? Quite simply, they all own a share of a multi-million-pound property development company. So currently, over 90% of the public are excluded from the construction asset class, and we have a solution which is basically headache-free. Effectively, we have digitized the future revenues of the construction investments that we invest in, which to the public means you can buy a digital share of a construction investment fund, and every time a house is built and sold, you effectively get your collective return on investment. So it removes the headache of having to pick developments, seeing investment locked for several years, and it also brings liquidity ability, which means if they want to cash out and get out, they can sell their digital shares of the construction business's profits that they own to another user. What are we actually building and selling? It's known as modern method of construction, part volumetric, part panelized. What effectively that means is the houses are built off-site, in factory, and then delivered to site and erected. We can compete with traditional development, such as brick and block, on cost. But the huge difference here is these houses have zero reliance on fossil fuels. So there is no carbon emissions, there are zero energy bills, and they actually produce more energy than they consume, meaning that could be used for battery storage, that could be used to charge electric vehicles if you're not into queuing at the petrol stations for 2 days, and ultimately a new revenue of passive income for surplus energy sold to the grid. What that means ultimately for the construction sector, which is the biggest polluter of CO2, is construction of residential homes can ultimately decarbonize the grid. So no fossil fuels required. Because of the model of what we are as a FinTech for good business, such as the financial inclusion aspect, as well as removing fossil fuel from the construction sector and renewables. We currently meet 9 of the 17 UN goals. Traction a few years ago were a concept, then we got to the MVP, then we did a private round. Now we have a ton of angels and a VC. This isn't a pipe dream. There is actually a prototype house that's completed that produces more than 10,000 kilowatts per annum. And there's currently over £110 million worth of real estate in the pipeline. So the business model, the important bit which will empower millions of people financially that are currently excluded, is what's known as the shared economy. So that is where effectively the public will ultimately become the kingpins of the world's largest asset class, irrespective of their wealth levels, whether they've got £10 to invest, whether they've got £10,000 to invest. A 30% return on investment is a 30% return on investment. And the shared economy is the way to do it. So the public become the financiers and we become the developers, and everything is shared evenly with a smidgen going to charity. So we're actually part of 3 of the world's largest sectors, finance, real estate, and the upcoming digital assets sector. Our go-to-market strategy is going to be education through real estate and real use world cases. We're not crowdfunding because we're a digitized construction investment profit share. So it's not crowdfunding where investment is locked and you have to pick a development and it's a real headache. It's big numbers when you actually look at how we can grow this over the coming years of the roadmap, because it's real estate. We're a blended team. There's myself, nearly 30 years in construction. There's Matthew, who's spent nearly 2 decades in planning and site delivery. There's Joey, who's a former registered investment advisor. There's David Reed, ex-NatWest director, and a rapidly growing ecosystem. Some of the progress so far. So we're currently being scaled by one of the world's largest law firms, CMS. We graduated Founder Institute, 430 applicants, only 10 graduates on their Silicon Valley first virtual program. We're backed by Loyal VC. We've got EIS approval from HMRC. And then finally, where are we at the moment? So we're just about closing the seed round. Currently 33 angels on the cap table along with Loyal VC. We do have EIS from HMRC. And there is some equity available for angels. And we're also looking for reciprocal partnerships. So if there's people watching this that have a business that would bootstrap and benefit both of us, would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gary. Really good presentation. Really good proposition as well. A quick one for me. What's your take to market strategy? Great that you've got one POC, but how do you plan to expand very quickly?
So tech to market, we're currently in talks with a tech investment business that will look to be our tech partner on the app. We're not crypto. We are using blockchain, but we're not crypto. This isn't pegged to Bitcoin. This isn't on random decentralized exchanges. We will be regulated because it is the only way we can actually get to mass market with a blockchain product.
Okay.
What is your blockchain product at the moment, or is that still coming down the pipe?
That's the last piece of the jigsaw. The reality is, even though the crypto community will say different, the reality is that's the last piece of the jigsaw, because you cannot legally solicit investment until regulated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be with us Q4 this year, the live product.
So is that delaying anything, with that move to that tech?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's the entire delay is about going from concept to a regulated entity. Right. Once regulated, then we can tell the world.
Okay. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
How have you? It's quite an intriguing concept. How has it been received generally?
Well, we have a very high LTV with a 0 customer acquisition cost. 94% of people from the private round have said they will invest again. And so far, with such a high LTV at a 0 CAC, indicates the thirst for this product, because there's nothing out there at the moment for blue collar, white collar workers that returns them roughly 30% per annum on their investment. So we do feel that this could ultimately benefit millions of people financially, and have no bias about your wealth level. and being partaking in a shared economy through construction.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry about the blip on the tech.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Everything's fine now. We will now move on to Jesus Ramos from Quota.
This is Sus. Quota, thank you for inviting us. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Okay, so this is Sus. I'm the CBO at co-founder at Quota, and we are providing the first microinsurance for replacement of the rent deposit in Spain. In other words, we are actually creating the tool that makes tenants, landlords, and real estate agents happier. The rental market has been growing in Spain during the last few years due to the financial constraint for the younger generation and also social changes. But we believe that landlords and renters, tenants are actually two faces of the same coin. Landlords are worried about the missed payments and the damages, while tenants need to pay 25% of the first year rental cost before actually entering their homes. More than 70% of tenants would like to reduce this amount, and actually more than 35% of them cannot pay for it because they don't have the money either to move home or to improve their home or even to go on vacation. So we are Quora, a unique tool that provides financial flexibility and security for rentals by reducing the initial financial burden, maximizing the protection for the owner, and allowing to close more deals to real estate agents. Quota Protect is the first rent deposit microinsurance in Spain. It provides a 95% reduction of upfront rental costs because it costs only 1/10 of the month rent, and it maximizes land protection because it can provide up to 3 months of protection for the rent, for unpaid bills, for damages. All of this is based on technology, our own proprietary technology, which is Quota Score. And well, we follow actually the same principles established by other successful companies in other industries. They have combined technology and a rating system in order to increase the operational efficiency and to improve the quality of the services. Quota Score is a real game changer, and it's a dynamic validation of tenants, providing a precise tenant profile thanks to various sources of data, such as balance sheet through open banking, income and spending behaviors, and other data. We combine up to 25 sources of dynamic data in our databases, and thanks to artificial intelligence algorithms, we cluster the tenants based on their preferences and their financial situation, not based on their race, their origin, whatever other reason. So that's Quota Score, and then thanks to this data, we can create or develop new innovative products which are tailor-made and customized for each user, such as Quota Protect. All of this provided through our digital platform for real estate agents and landlords. So our goals are actually in line with those of the UN. We want to provide equal access to basic economic resources, addressing all types of poverty. And we want to address also sustainable cities and communities by building a more sustainable social environment in cities. In the last 6 months, we have developed a functional digital product, both for agents, homeowners, and real estate agents. We already have a basic version of our Quota Score, providing a rent calculator, a rent affordability calculator, and also the mini CRM for real estate agents, and a proprietary chatbot that can allow tenants to provide information in a convenient and secure manner. And we are determined to success. In the last few months, we achieved our pre-seed round thanks to Think Bigger Capital. We have moved our offices to our innovation space in Madrid. We are in this competition and other incubators such as F10, and we are going next week to Luxembourg in order to participate in this international insurance competition. We are finalists here. And we want to achieve a huge impact. As I said, the first rent deposit microinsurance in Spain, which can save up to 2,000 euros per transaction on average to each tenant. So by 2021, we hope to have 300 tenants, and that will mean more than 600,000 euros that they have in their pockets and they can save. They can use for whatever they need, their studies, their food, their traveling, whatever. By 2022, there's much more huge amount of money there, up to 10 million euros that we'll have saved. And we think not only about measuring our direct impact, but also about launching other initiatives to document our impact on the life of people, so we can establish close conversation with them in order to know more about their life, their personal impact, and how we have impacted them and how we either allow them to improve their home or to improve their life. Next, we aim at managing around 50,000 rental contracts by the end of 2023, and this could be either nationally and internationally by expanding fast and easy, leveraging on technology, and also using the same strategy that we use in Spain, but adapting, of course, to the local regulations in Portugal, Italy, UK, that have similar regulation. Thanks to this competition, of course, we will be able to have the expert help of HISE in order to grow our team that is growing a lot now. Then we need to increase our exposure also nationally and internationally, thanks to Impact and also FinTech Scotland. And then, of course, we need to achieve our goal. At the end, we believe a key metric of our impact will be the improvement of the relationship established between the tenants and homeowners. We expect that they will establish more transparent, more long-lasting, sustainable relationships. And at the end, well, that was what this competition was about, right? About building super connections. So thank you so much. We are Quora.
Thank you very much, Jesus. Very good presentation. Quick one for me. I'm very interested in the quota score that you're developing. Yep. How do you create trust around that score? Are you able to measure against other method of measurement, more traditional method of measurement?
Yeah, at the end, what we are trying to leverage, especially, is on data. So we want to use alternative sources of data, such as open banking, such as some rent history, and yeah, that kind of interaction in a dynamic way that can build more trust, both for the insurance and also for the landlords.
Thank you.
I've got a quick question. I don't know if I'm just maybe a bit confused by just how the company is set up at the moment, but are you guys a software house or are you an insurance company or both?
Well, we are a software-based company because insurance is, of course, a regulated sector. So we have an industrial partner there that is the, let's say, provider, the legal provider of the insurance. But they have created that specific insurance for us based on our requirements.
Right. Okay. So you underwritten by that company to provide these services, essentially.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
How are you, what stage of your startup journey are you on?
So we raised the pre-seed amount just a few months ago. This product, the digital platform, is already available, and we are already handling the profiles of more than 200, around 300 tenants at the moment. And we are in contact with real estate agencies here in Madrid. The insurance product, as I just mentioned, is provided by this third party, and we are about to launch in the next few weeks. We have already provided quotations, and well, they need to close, especially the regulation there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jesus.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're now going to move to Usman Yassin from Sonic Pocket.
So my name is Usman Yassin. I'm the founder of Sonic Pocket, and I came up with the inspiration through my 4 adorable nieces who love to shop online, but they think that money's like they think that bank cards are just nothing but a piece of plastic and money grows in trees. So one of my nieces actually wanted to purchase something online on Argos when she was really young, and I was really apprehensive giving my credit card. I was thinking, is she going to overspend? And one of the youngest ones there, the wee cutie on the side, she was really struggling with mental arithmetic. So I started investigating that, and I found out that educational platforms were a bit mundane. Kids didn't really want to use it, and e-commerce platforms online were designed all for adults to use, but children were actually buying products like toys and stuff through their pocket money. So this is where my kind of inspiration came from. But then we started investigating it a little bit more, and we found out that money was affecting a lot of people. They were getting themselves into debt. There's so many things out there that adults now, buy now, pay later. So we've now tried to combat this through our platform. I'm going to show you a little bit later on how we basically do that. So even from my personal experience, I remember when I was 18, went to university, I got my bursary. I spent it straight away. I didn't work at a budget and stuff like that. So this affects a lot of society right now. Okay, let me get here. So within Sonic Pocket, we want to teach children about earn. So, you know, they earn their pocket money through their chores, they get the pocket money, they learn. We've got an actual combined educational platform on there. So regardless if parents put pocket money on, children can actually learn about money, mental arithmetic. They can create like savings goals, and they can spend as well independently on a vetted e-commerce toy store that we've got combined there for that. So what I'm going to do now here, I'm actually going to show you the platform, how it actually works. So Guardians log in, they've got their money, they've got their balance here, so they can go in and add a mission. So the mission this week could be walk the dog. So we're going to set this one up, walk the dog here. Select the date. They can select multiple dates as well. Once they can get here, they can select a time and date. So parents, the way we've done our platform compared to a lot of other ones out there, we can do virtual points. So if a parent is not affluent, they don't want to give pocket money, they're not in a position to do so, they could actually give virtual points within the platform as well. Or they can give real money if they're in that position to do so. And then now what happens is the child now will receive a notification on their tablet. Before we go on to that part, I'm going to show you an educational side that we've got within Sonic Pocket as well. So we surveyed a lot of parents, and we found out that a lot of parents don't know how to discuss with their children about financial education. So we've now partnered up with loads of different money vloggers all around the world, actually, and they're making some videos for us, putting them on, like explain what type of chores should have monetary value. So things like tidying your bedroom, brushing your teeth shouldn't have that. They should have the virtual points. Things like, you know, help daddy cut the grass, wash the car, they kind of things should have monetary value. So we've got some really great experts giving parents tips on that as well. Another cool feature that we've got as well is the Guardians. If the child decides to put it in their saving wallet, the Guardian can actually set up an interest rate, and they can decide. So every 28 days, if the child leaves, say, £5 in there, the child would then receive a 5% interest on the amount that they've left, and the child can then work that out as well. So I'm going to now go to the child side. The child then verifies that they've completed that mission. The parent then just gets a notification saying they've done it. And this is a unique part that we've got in the system here. We let children decide where they want to put that money. So this child here has created a savings goal that they want to save up for Batman through their e-commerce platform. So now what will happen is the child can then go and buy this product. This is a vetted e-commerce store that they've got. They can write reviews and stuff like that on it as well. So here we've got something very unique. No one's done this. We've got an educational checkout. So the child would be then challenged here and how much they've got on their total balance, how much this product's costing, the impact it's going to have on their balance, and then we make sure that they're sure that they want it. We've got loads of different scenarios that we've got equations depending on the child's set skill that they can do from here as well. And it's impact here. And we also do donations, so kids can actually donate old toys. They've played with them. We've partnered up with local hospitals that they can give it to children maybe that are getting surgery and things like that as well. And we're constantly working on new partnerships as well with other hospitals and things that kids can donate. So we'll show that there. So then this is the educational part that we've got. So kids could basically log in here, click on this wee button here, and then they can go in and play mental arithmetic games, which we've got completely built here, work through their progress. So this is, I think I'm going to get this one right. Yep, that's it there. So yep, this is the journey here, and they accumulate points for this every time that they do it. And now we are live on the App Store and on Google Store. So I'm just going to go back to the presentation.
Usman,
yep.
Sorry, you reached the end of the 5 minutes.
Okay.
Like I said before, because we try to support Sonic Pocket, I won't be asking questions, but
okay.
Welcoming Justin or Damien to do so.
Yeah, no problem.
Isman, hi. It looks like a very comprehensive platform. What sort of traction are you, and I think you were coming on to there, what sort of traction are you getting?
So right now, we're FCA approved. We work with Modular Finance, and Michael's right, he's one of our advisors there as well at FinTech Scotland. We work with modular finance. We're FCA approved. We've got 1,000 users on the platform. We are live on Android and iOS platforms currently just now. We're getting some really good traction. We're getting some, hopefully trying to pick up some international partners actually over in the Middle East just now as well. So yeah, we're doing relatively good.
Okay, thank you.
Usman, how are parents protected with putting cash on the platform? How is that cash protected?
Yeah. So we're on the FCA register. So we're using PIS technology, which connects through open banking. The parent can just top up the electronic wallet within Sonic Pocket. We've got it there.
Okay, thank you. I don't
questions?
have any more questions.
No. Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys. Thanks. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Right. Okay, is that on the right slide then?
Perfect.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Laurel, the CEO and co-founder at Sustainably. At Sustainably, we turn everyday payments into positive impact, and we call it a new way of living and giving. 88% of people would happily round up the change from their transactions and donate it to charity, but right now only 1% of people actually do that. And it's hard for charities and corporates too. 80% of charities are concerned about their ability to fundraise, with 12 billion lost in donations last year. And 94% of CEOs have a commitment to responsible business, but only 17% have measurable plans in place. So why is it so hard for consumers, charities, and corporates? There are lots of factors at play, but these are the highlights. With too many ways to give that aren't built into everyday life, this creates apathy for people and an admin headache for charities and businesses. Without a single platform, it's hard for anyone to get transparency on the impact of donations. And finally, there's little choice, flexibility, or control over which causes to give to when spending, as the market is so fragmented. Today, the market for giving is $400 billion globally, and this could rise to $1 trillion by 2030 with socially conscious Gen Z and millennials and a global emerging middle class. Gen Z and millennials now make up the largest giving segment. 11 million gave £2.7 billion in 2019 to up to 6 causes each. They want to do good and know that they work for and buy from companies who do good, and they want it to be easy. So we got to thinking, what if we could create a single platform that brought individuals, good causes and businesses together to do good as part of everyday life? I was head of digital for an investment company where I helped scale it from 6 to 30 countries in 10 years. And my daughter and co-founder Aishal was working in ethical retail, managing customer experience and sales. And we got obsessed about thinking, why is it just not easy enough to have a positive impact? And it turns out Richard Branson and others think so too, naming us his Startup of the Year 2019. So we built it, one platform, connected and FCA regulated, to turn everyday payments into purpose. For consumers, they can live their life and do good. By simply choosing a cause and adding a payment card in the app, we enable them to digitally round up their spare change everywhere they shop. Retailer agnostic and automated, Sustainably works in the background so consumers can have a positive impact without thinking about it. They can set their own limits, gift aid is added automatically, and they get total privacy, transparency, and control. And we're adding multiple ways to make doing good frictionless. For charities, it's hassle-free fundraising, so they can access a new income stream from cashless transactions and corporate match donations from one platform, and they get aggregated, anonymized supporter shopping trend data to help them unlock new corporate partnerships. They just simply sign up to our self-service portal, and then when someone donates, that triggers an instant impact update. So there is a way to engage. For businesses, it enables them to give to causes their customers and employees care about and track the impact of them as a business and their wider community. And Visa just selected Sustainably as a Visa Everywhere Finalist. And we've got a growing pipeline of businesses signing up to our frictionless business platform. And for other platforms, we'll provide simple integrations to enable them to activate their customers and users to create impact at scale in frictionless ways. We really are unique in addressing this huge gap in the market with a simple solution that brings consumers, businesses, and good causes together as part of everyday life. And providing continuous visibility for brands, we're transforming corporate social responsibility. We've already signed some of the largest UK charities, including British Heart Foundation, Macmillan and Shelter, and our simple self-service portal has just gone live. Our customer feedback really speaks for itself, and we're really proud of what we've achieved as we get ready to scale. We've got a highly skilled team of 10, including product growth, UX design, data, sales, and customer success. And our advisory board has a track record in scaling global tech startups. The opportunity for everyday giving is everywhere, and with network effect growth, so for every individual, every charity, and every business in the world. And with investors, including Brent Hoberman's Founders Factory and the co-founder of Skyscanner, we're now raising seed funding to supercharge impact globally with one platform to connect everyone, frictionless, automated, and measurable. Together, we can make a real difference as part of everyday life. Everything we do counts, and that's why we're talking about a new way of living and giving. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Laurel. That was excellent. I've got a quick question for you. There seems to be a lot of technology out there that's doing something similar at the moment. What is your key differentiator?
Yeah, so we are software as a service essentially, and everything we do is automated and frictionless. So it's about signing up to one platform that enables you to give in a multitude of ways. So you'll be able to give instantly, monthly, roundups, set up events, see your retailer shop that you shop at giving to the cause that you care about, and your employer all in one place. And for charities, it means they just have to run one platform, which is really low cost for them, because we only charge them a supporter fee per month. We don't charge them based on donations. And then for businesses, enables businesses of any size to connect and engage with their customers and employees, because it doesn't require a massive CSR team to run it. It's simple plug and play.
Okay, thank you.
So I was interested in, you mentioned one of the advantages of this is around tracking. What sort of feedback have you had on that thus far, and how is it working?
Yeah, so when someone gives through Sustainably, they get an instant impact update saying what's happening with their money. And that comes directly from impact updates that the charities add into our portal. So that really closes that loop of when you give to charity, you don't really know what happens to your money. You never find out what's going on. It might be a newsletter in a couple of months. It's not kind of specific to what you've just done. So that do good, feel good, continuous impact loop really helps for the end user. Then for the charity, we provide them with anonymized, aggregated supporter shopping trend data. So if they see a correlation with, our supporters are, they're shopping at ASOS, then they can approach ASOS with the data and say, can we do something bigger here, for example? So there's lots of different data that we use from the transactions, from the locations, from what people care about, that we then feed back into the businesses so that the individual, the cause, and the charity can create more impact, essentially.
Thank you very much, Laurel. Thank you. We'll now move on to Leslie Lee from UImpact.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Leslie.
My screen. Let me know when you can see my screen.
We can now, yes.
Very good. So my name is Leslie. I'm the CEO of UImpact. We're a German-based fintech startup with the mission to demystify sustainable investment. So everyone is talking about sustainable investment these days. About 90% of the people, they've heard about buzzwords like ESG, G, but only around 10% of them, they understand what that really means. You might ask, isn't ESG or sustainability score the answer? So here are the scores of Tesla from 4 different rating providers. They come in different shapes, colors, out of black boxes. And the market is now flooded with so-called sustainable investments. There is no standardized or consistent way to evaluate them. Let me give you an example. Here are 2 funds, both labeled as sustainable. One is called Low Carbon Target ETF. The other one is called World Climate Paris Alliance ETF. Can you tell which one is better? Right. I worked in banking for over a decade, and this will still take me a few hours of research to come up with an answer. So we started wondering, what can we learn from consumer-focused industries? Let's look at this. You can tell me in no time which one is Diet Coke, right? And with the nutritional information, you don't have to be a food expert in order to tell how much sugar or energy it has, the layout, the color, the content. They're all designed and written for consumers with clarity and consistency. So what the consumers are crying out for is something intuitive and comparable. So why can't we do exactly that in finance? So we think, what if there is something like an X-ray scanner that can tell you exactly what the impact of your investments are? With that inspiration, we founded You Impact. We're here to revolutionize the way to connect you with your money, to demystify the world of sustainable investing. So you can choose your investments as easy as choosing your drinks. So we offer a highly intuitive fund selection solution. We call it the 360-degree scan of your investments, building on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals as our baseline. So our suite of analytical tools empower the individual investors to understand the contents of their funds and explain the real-life impact of their investments. Essentially, we're turning complex information into visual and intuitive content, designed and tested with real consumers. Intuitive, simple, and jargon-free. This beautiful simplicity is backed by a vast number of data points, covering 15,000 companies with proven methodology and designed by our team of experienced financial professionals. And from the user experience we have conducted, our tool can really significantly improve the investor's decision-making process. We offer our product as a B2B white label solution. We provide sustainability data insight, fund analytics, and comparison tools. Our user experiments show that our solution can significantly improve the fund sales process, increase the customer conversion for our clients. And we already have our first very happy client, SDG Investments, based in Germany here. The market growth has been astonishing. It grew by almost a third in 2020 alone. Take Germany as an example. There are 140 billion euros of savings. Just imagine, and we can unlock these savings, these sleeping savings, into investing in a sustainable future together. Why are we the best people to do this? We have combined 25 years experience from the world's biggest banks and over 15 years track record in technology and innovation. We have an outstanding advisory board from industry experts who are passionately supporting our mission. Since we founded, we have come a very long way. Last year, we won the FinTech for Impact Challenge organized by Visa and 13 German banks, and we were selected as one of Germany's top 3 impact early ventures by Getting the Ring. So we gained our first B2B client and currently closing a funding round. We're currently looking for proof of concept partners and follow-on investors to join our journey. Thank you very much. We are You Impact. We're on a mission to demystify sustainable investment. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Leslie. Very good presentation. In terms of, as you said, there's no ESG standards and there's no recognized measurement framework. How do you ensure that it's not just the company you're investing in, but the whole supply chain that's being measured from an ESG perspective. And that, as an investor, I'm sure that I'm actually investing in the real, in a place that matters to me.
So exactly. So that is a hot topic. The whole world hasn't got an answer. But what we know is that we can deploy the black and white numbers, for example, revenue of the companies. So with that 15,000 companies of coverage we have, we know exactly how each of the companies are aligned or disaligned against this UN's 17 SDGs. And we give that transparency to people. So then they can have a very clear idea, say, an energy company, what is the percentage of the revenue comes from coal, comes from biomass, come from wind or renewable, whichever. And we have the trend analysis data for that, have the transparency. Are they on the right track to achieve, say, net zero by 2030? So that's the kind of data we deploy as a starting point. As the industry, when it comes to sustainability, data quality improve, we will our service that we can improve together with it. But the point is, the blind spot here is not the data. It's the retail investors have none of that, no transparency, nothing. And we have that kind of data, democratize it to the retail investors. The same quality data that bankers, fund managers use, and then we translate it in a way that retail investors can understand.
So a quick question for you, mainly around the technology and the source of the 15,000 funds, because there are organizations out there that already do an awful lot of that. And tech companies like yourself can plug in and start to slice and dice and present the information whichever way. Where are you in that chain? Are you plugging into an organization that actually provides the 15,000, the details of that 15,000 companies, and what does your technology do on top of that?
We're plugging into multiple. Let's put it this way. We pick and choose. We go and spend the time to crunch the data, understand it, and then we have the calculation layer on top, filter through and translate that into a way that end consumers can understand. So our end consumer really are the retail investors, have no financial literacy, who have no time to really research for the sustainable investments. And then this is what we're doing.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you. And then final presentation, last but not least, Anna Moragas from Ulco. Anna, good morning.
Okay, now?
Yes, Anna, we can see you and hear you.
I'm so sorry. Yesterday it worked perfectly, and I don't know why today not.
That's okay. Not
so
to worry.
Sorry.
We can see you
okay.
now.
I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry again. Okay.
No
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Anna. I'm the PR and Communications Manager at Ulco. It's really nice to meet you. And first of all, thank you so much for letting us the opportunity to present Ulco to all of you. I would like to start with one question, and it is, have you ever wondered what would happen if every time you use our credit card, we could make a micro donation to a social cause? Without any doubt, we could develop new cancer treatments. We could build new schools in the poorest countries. We could reforest critical zones affected by fires, or we could ensure food programs to families at risk of social exclusion, among many, many others. Ulco is a social company, is a B Corp company born in Barcelona that joins committed companies with NGOs to find high social impact projects. And how we do that? We develop and implement different fundraising channels to help NGOs to obtain the necessary funds to implement their projects around the world. Our objective is to offer the people the option to make a micro donation in different moments of their day-to-day in an easy and effective way. Since 2 years ago, more or less, our fundraising channels were online. But 2 years ago, we launched the charity rounding up system, which is a new mechanism that enables micro donations every time we pay with a credit card in a commercial establishment. The mechanism is very easy and intuitive. Before entering the PIN number, the point of sale screen asks us if we want to round up the total amount of our purchase and collaborate with the social or environmental causes. In the screen, we see the amount suggested to donate, and we can decide whether collaborate or not by pressing the green button, yes, or the green button, no. Once we have made the decision, the payment process is the same as always. Here you can see some pictures of real causes of the different companies that collaborate with us. Some of the organizations who have been beneficiaries of this new system are, for example, UNICEF, Plan International, Save the Children, Street Child, Red Cross, or Make-A-Wish, for example, among others. The thing is that in total, Ulco collaborates with more than 500 NGOs around the world, and we prepare together with each of them the projects we think can suit better with customers, and we follow up the fundraising process since its beginning to its end. When the project is funded, we ask a report and we communicate the results, both companies and customers, because for us, transparency is a key element in the whole process. And then some of the companies who have implemented one or more of Ulco's fundraising channels are, for example, Eroski, Correos, Telefónica, Banco Sabadell, Mastercard, Ticketmaster, PC Componentes, Balbi, Hawkers, Bumpersclad, Condis, and so on. Here you can see that there is a lot of supermarket brands who have started to implement the charity rounding up system. And also, I would like to show you a quick business case. Eroski is one of the key supermarket retailers in Spain. Last year, in November, they started to offer the charity rounding up to all of their customers. Since then, they have already funded 21 projects to thanks to more than 13 million donations. Cent to cent, they have already raised more than 2 million euros, which is it's incredible. So yes, we are very, very happy with the results. Today, more than 600 establishments already offer this new system, which has already registered more than 32 million donations, which means a total of 5 million euros raised. Last but not least, more than 650,000 people have received help from one of the more than 500 projects that have been funded thanks to the charity rounding up. In a short term, our main goal is to integrate the charity rounding up in the main stores in Spain. We are especially focused on the supermarket sector. And on the other hand, our main goal in the following years is to internalize our solution in countries such as Italy, Portugal, or Ecuador, and to become the European leader in microdonations. The recognition would allow us to increase our visibility around Europe and to close new agreements with key partners, NGOs, companies, and technological companies. And that's all. Thank you so much for your attention and for letting us the opportunity to explain to you a little bit more about Ulco.
Thank you, Anna. 5 minutes on the dot. Very well done. Very well timed as well. For me, I've got a question. Really good proposition. I really understand the product from in the physical world, but do you have plans to move also to digital payments?
The thing is that we started in digital payments. The first years of Ulco, we developed different fundraising channels aimed at online world, especially on e-commerce companies such as Ticketmaster or Promo Pharma. And what we did is we offer customers to add €1 at the end of their purchase process and to collaborate with social cause. We started in the online world, but then based on the good results and on the good feedback from the customers, we decided to go to the offline world, where the number of transactions is still very, very much more bigger. The thing is that our objective now is to increase our visibility in the offline world, but of course we are still work on the online, the digital payments and the digital world. Yes.
Thank you,
Anna. So one question I have, Anna, is around how does the roundup work in a sort of self-service tap and go environment?
Can you repeat it? Sorry.
how does the roundups actually work when I'm in a supermarket that is self-service and
Yes.
I just tap and go?
Yes. No, it works. It works in the same way. The thing is that when you pay like a self-payment, for example, in Bonpreu and Bonpreu i Esclat supermarket, when you go, you have this. It's the same. The process is the same. You have the screen, and then the message appears, and then you can decide whether collaborate or not. The system is the same, and in fact is something very important for us, because nowadays there are more and more people and new technologies that offer this kind of payment, self-payment, also to pay with a mobile phone. It's very important, and it also works with this system. Yes.
Okay, all right.
I was going to ask you the same question that I asked another startup. Is your differentiator? So there seems to be a lot of businesses in this space at the moment. So what is your differentiator?
Yes, there are similar companies who do the same. Not in Spain. In Spain, we are the only ones, but there is companies in France or in UK, for example, that they do something very similar. But the key element that differentiates us between the others is that apart of developing the technology, we also prepare the fundraising, like the fundraising campaigns, the projects in a collaboration with NGOs. We prepare with them the specific project, the specific number of beneficiaries, the specific objectives, and it's a work that we do together with NGOs. And we prepare together. And also another thing is that we also prepare the communication campaign with the NGOs. So these are the two things that differentiate us between the others.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Very much, Anna. Thank you everyone as well. Really enjoyed all the presentations, and I'm sure Damien and Justin did as well, judging by the smile on their face. We had a great time, very interesting presentations. So we'll now obviously gather our thoughts together, and we'll let you know very soon who's the winner. Good luck to everyone. I think it's all very strong presentations, so it's going to be a very tough job for us to pick one over the others. I will now end the meeting, and I think you are welcome to go back to the stage of the expo area of the conference. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.